Hey there, welcome back to another Penguin Magic Top 10. My name is Eric Tate. I'm the host of the Penguin Magic Podcast, and joining me today is Nick Popa. How you doing, Nick?
I'm doing well, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm glad you're here because today we are talking top 10 Rubik's Cube tricks. And there's one thing I know about you, it's that you love Rubik's Cube tricks.
Yes, I do have a fond love for Rubik's Cube magic.
It's like more than a fond love. So when we were doing the Tuesday night shows here, we booked you for one, just like for fun to see what you would do. And you did like an almost 35-minute Rubik's Cube only act.
Yeah. I have been putting together an act of all Rubik's Cube magic, and like you said, it's about 35 minutes, and it's one of my favorite routines or favorite acts to perform.
I know that Rubik's Cube magic was sort of like thrust into our faces with the stuff on Penn and Teller Fool Us, and now a lot of people are finding out about the original work from Takumi, not Takumi, from Takumi's, who's done 2 Penguin live acts now, and has done some insane Rubik's Cube stuff on there. I was here for that show. I brought people. It was crazy. But let's jump right in right now. Well, actually, before we do that, what is it that you like about Rubik's Cubes?
I think the thing that I really like about Rubik's Cubes is just everyone's used them. You know, it's the most common toy on the planet. Yeah. Everybody knows the iconic Rubik's Cube, and they know how challenging they are.
Yeah.
Of course, there's a number of people that can solve them in pretty quick at pretty quick speeds.
Yeah.
I know I personally can solve one in a little over 30 seconds or so, but
30 seconds is pretty crazy. my best is just under 90 seconds.
Okay.
Yeah.
And but even though people are aware of the ability to solve cubes quickly, there's still a fascination, because if they saw a mixed cube, it would just be impossible for them to think that they could go from solved to from mixed to solved in a matter of seconds.
Yeah, it's a really fascinating area, and I know that there's a lot of people who are like, Rubik's Cubes aren't magic, but some of the stuff you cannot deny the impression it has on audiences. But let's get into it. Hit me with number 10.
Number 10 is The Cube by Takumi Usui.
Takumi Usui, huge friend of Penguin Magic, like monster name in Rubik's Cubes. Tell us, our listeners at home, a little bit more about what The Cube is.
So The Cube is basically the foundation of a lot of the modern cube magic today.
It was a DVD, right?
Yes, it was a DVD that Takumi's put out, and it teaches some of his fundamental Rubik's Cube moves, and it's, as I said, the basis for a lot of modern Rubik's Cube magic.
It's sort of his original stack, a lot of the techniques on the one-handed solves, and the different matching principles that he was doing. The Cube is an amazing DVD. It's and he's updated that information a lot and shared it with us in a few other different resources. But yeah, that's a fantastic. You can find the Cube here on penguinmagic.com. And actually, if you look down below in the description area, there's going to be links to a lot of the stuff that we're talking about. So if you want to just hop on down there, if you want to find out more about the Cube, that's yeah, you're right. It should be at number 10 because it is foundational. Because a lot of things stem from it, even though it could easily fit in the number 1 spot.
Absolutely.
Let's move on to number 9.
So number 9 is actually The Cube Plus by Takumi Usui.
Yeah, that's the follow-up that he did to it, right?
I had to make that number 9 simply because, again, he's the grandfather of cube magic. Yeah. And so to put the Cube Plus at number 9 only made sense.
Now, what was it that he did with the Cube Plus that sort of advanced it further? Because there was a lot of different effects that happened in there that didn't happen in the other one.
Yeah, he also added some gimmick to it that makes it a lot better. And the first one was ungimmicked cube magic. This one used a gimmick and different ways to use that. So it just kind of took the cube to the next level.
It's interesting because the gimmicks that Takumi applies to Rubik's Cube magic often you are still doing manipulations, and they just make a lot of what you're doing much more deceptive.
Yeah.
And the Cube Plus definitely was sort of the progenitor of a lot of that. And really great list so far. Also makes a lot of sense where you're going. I like this because the Rubik's Cube is a very ordered thing, and this list seems to be very ordered. Hit me with number 8.
Number 8 is Isolated by Kieron Johnson.
Oh, I love this effect.
This is a really great effect where you can cause a signed Rubik's Cube to appear inside of a jar. It's a square jar that essentially could only fit a Rubik's Cube.
Yep.
It can't come out the top, and I said it's a signed cube, so they can actually sign one of the cubies on the cube, and it's not at the top either. The signed portion is on the side in an impossible place, so you couldn't just, it'd be impossible to just slide something in there.
It's a really wild, so I actually used to perform this, and it's really interesting because, so first of all, Kieron is a monster. He's just a really clever thinker, really, really smart guy, and everything that went into making Isolated work, it was just all of the pieces fit together so that you were able to reveal it, and then you weren't having to like take the lid of the jar off. You could just turn it and reveal their signature, and the way you got the signature on was really just extremely pleasing to do from beginning to end. And it was not one of those things you could give away unless you knew how to make another one.
Right.
But with enough, sort of research and arts and crafts knowledge, you could make another one if you wanted to be like the ultimate giveaway.
Absolutely.
Isolated was fantastic. Yeah, the only takeaway from it, and the reason it would rank so low on the list, is that it is difficult to make if you wanted to give it away, because otherwise, like giving away that kind of impossible object, just nuts. All right, let's move on. Number 7.
Number 7 is Mini Cube to Chocolate by Henry Harrius.
I'm not surprised that Henry Harrius is making an appearance on this list.
He makes quite a few.
Yeah.
So.
Tell us a little bit about what it was, what Mini Cube to Chocolate is, and what makes it so special.
So, Mini Cube to Chocolate is exactly what it sounds like. You've got a mini Rubik's Cube, and you place it on the table or in the spectator's hands, which is really cool. But you can spin it a couple times, and then just by smashing it with your fist, it turns into a bunch of M&Ms or a bunch of mini chocolate candies.
What's so, like, Henry is so smart. Like, I want to eat his hands to gain their power, because there's so much about that would have been really easy to mess up, because like the fact that you can turn it, right? So it's not, so like we know it's not just a shell, which is really
that
neat.
that was one of the things that instantly blew me away when I saw the fact that you could turn the cube. It sold me. That is amazing.
Being able to do it in someone else's hands, I mean, it's oh man, it's a really clever little gimmick that is perfect for walk around and even sort of larger environments. Yeah, it's great for Instagram.
Yeah, very, very good for Instagram magic.
Okay, and I'm certain we're going to hear Henry's name again soon, because he's definitely, if Takumi's was the grandfather of cube magic, certainly Henry is way down the line.
Oh yeah,
he's way ahead of the curve on this. So let's move on to number 6.
So number 6 is Rubiked by Vincent Terre.
Super good. I'm a little upset with you because I feel like it should be higher on the list. I have been using this since the day it came out. It's super good.
It's really cool. It's really cool. So you can have a spectator mix up a Rubik's Cube as much as they want. They can mix it till their heart is content, and you do nothing, and they can open up their phone, go to your website, and on your website is a picture of a Rubik's Cube that matches exactly with the cube that they just mixed.
This is really one of those like technology tricks that is really built for the modern age, and is super fooling because let's all, I mean, I think they even say this in the ad copy, and let's be frank, I mean, it's a high-tech Rubik's Cube.
It is,
The trick's not cheap, but it gets massive reactions. I bought it like the day it came out, And it took a little bit of like web knowledge to integrate into my website, but it's not super difficult to do that. And one of the nice things that I do is I work a lot of corporate shows, so I have a message to, depending on if I want it to be, if it's like a company party where it's just employees, I have a message from the management to the employees, or if I'm doing like a customer appreciation event, there's a message to the customers from my my client, you know, their vendor. And I've also done master prediction stuff where I was able to update and edit my website before I went into a show with stuff that I'd overheard, so that I was like, hey, welcome to the show. Thanks for wearing this red shirt. Congratulations on this. By the way, remember that Rubik's Cube you mixed up? Here it is. And it's super difficult for the audience to backtrack that maybe that Rubik's Cube is connected to the internet.
Right.
And it is, because it's a really innocent looking cube.
And that's the best part is, because people are so familiar with a Rubik's Cube, they're not as inclined to think, oh, there's got to be some technology, because you know Rubik's Cubes have been around for so long, and they are such a low tech, such a low tech item that to even start to think like how could all these electronics fit in there as well, and it still moves and all that.
And the fact that it is a legit speed cube. So if you want to do all of the original Takumi Usui stuff and like, you know, quick solves, one-handed solves, and then go with this crazy impossible prediction, it's just, it should be higher, but let's move on.
All right,
Let's go to number 5 now.
Number 5 is Cubic by Francis Minati.
Oh, okay. Is this the one that like has the numbers?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. This is, tell them a little bit about Cubic, because this is a very solid trick.
Yeah. So this
everything Francis Minati does. Is
oh yeah. So this ties Rubik's Cube magic into the magic square. So it gives justification in a way for having the numbers and drawing out the square, because you start off with a Rubik's Cube that has numbers 1 through 9 on each side of the cube, and as they mix it up, the face will have a different set of numbers each time. So I demonstrate it as a toy that helps you that helps kids learn math skills. So that's the justification for creating new math problems, and then drawing the square on a sketchboard, and then matching the numbers up there. With that presentation and with the cube, I feel like it just adds a much more playful, a much more interactive version of the magic square.
Yeah, it's one of those things that like, the magic square is a great trick. I mean, there's all kinds of cool magic you could do with it, but finding a way to introduce it is a difficult thing, and Francis Minati just like hits the nail on the head right there. Because it's even, when you look at the prop that it comes with, it's very reminiscent of other similar style, because I know that like Sudoku Rubik's Cubes are really popular, that I've walked through like a bookstore and just seen those there, and so it looks like it's a strange object, but it still looks familiar enough that I don't question it.
Yeah.
All right, moving on, we're zipping through these. Where's number 4?
Number 4 is Super Quick Cube by Takumi Usui.
Tell us a little bit about it, because I know what it is, because I've seen it sort of behind the scenes for quite some time now, but I think that everyone should get a bit of a preview from you.
So this is probably one of my favorite, it's slowly becoming one of my favorite cube effects. It's an instant cube solve that ends completely clean. You can hand the gimmick out after, or hand the cube out after, but it's a gimmicked
quick solve.
Yes,
is what we should say.
It is a gimmicked quick solve.
Because there's a lot of quick solves that you can do with just a shake of the wrist, but if you are familiar with it, or you start to look at the pattern for too long, or the cube stays too still for too long, you might be able to detect some kind of a pattern and blockiness, but this really just gets rid of that.
Yeah, this helps eliminate patterns, and it's so visual because you don't have to do any cover up. It can happen very quick, right in the spectator's face, just bam, it solves. And then, like I said, it's super easy to steal the gimmick and hand out the cube for examination.
Yeah, and watching Takumi's use it is really cool, but I think you're going to get a really great instructional video from Nick Lacapo, who really goes into a lot of detail on stuff like this.
Yeah, and what's great is you can use the cube for other cube effects.
Oh, that's right.
So
yeah.
it is a gimmicked cube, but it does not prevent it from working like a regular cube.
Yeah, the gimmicks don't get in the way of just normal cube operation.
Right.
All right, we're getting into the home stretch here.
Yes.
Number 3.
3 is The Solution by Michael Murray.
I love The Solution. I am so mad that I didn't come up with it myself because it is such a clever idea. It's a clever solution, not to be a pun.
It truly, truly is. It's been the closer to my Rubik's Cube act since the day I saw it. For those of you who don't know, you have a cube that's mixed up, and it can be mixed up, and you give it to the spectator, and you put it behind their back, and they twist the cube, and then without touching it, they bring the cube out, and it's solved.
It's really impressive, and it's one of those things where there is a principle involved that we use a lot in sort of mentalism and other types of magic where it seems like someone's in on it, but not quite. And this is one of those things where they feel like they're in on it, and then they get surprised because they know what occurred, and still the cube is solved. And I've seen some really interesting presentations with it where people are not making it solved, but they're doing like a double match.
Okay, that's
where
really
someone
clever.
where they are apparently mixing it up behind their back, and then when they bring out the cube, it matches another cube that was already mixed up either by the audience or the magician. And there's just a lot of neat stuff you can do with it. I've used it many, many times, and it is just a phenomenal piece. You've definitely seen it happen on TV, and like you can see the absolute shock in people's faces.
And like you just said, the spectators love this because they feel like they have the magic power. They truly believe that they solved that cube behind their back.
It's so good. Yeah, and it's one of those. It's another like pack small, play massive. All right, so there's a couple that I because I know cube magic, not as well as you, but I know cube magic. I'm wondering. I know something might be coming up, and I'm wondering if it's going to place it first or second. So give me number 2.
So number 2 is Venom Cube.
I knew you were going to say Venom. I knew it. You were going to say Venom.
So this is another Henry Harrius product.
Yes.
And it is arguably one of the cleanest matching cube effects on the market.
It's one of those that falls into works really well, but also the method is super pleasing. So when you get it and you're like, oh, look how cool this is, as you're using it, you feel great. Like you legitimately feel great using this product.
Yeah, and it's amazing because you have 2 cubes. And without, you don't have any covers, you hand one of the cubes to your spectator to freely mix up however they like, and you take it back, and then immediately go into showing that the sides match. Every single side matches completely.
It's great because there is no cover. Like there is some secret stuff going on while you're showing that it's matching, and so he's done something really neat. I remember I was at 4F, and John Michael Hinton showed it to me because he was a part of the group that was out road testing it because he does so much Rubik's Cube magic, and before it had actually hit the market. And there are a lot of people doing a lot of really interesting things with Venom. So it's another one of those utility devices that, yes, its primary purpose is for this match, this really phenomenal, super squeaky clean match, but there's other things out there that you can do with this.
Yeah.
All right, that brings us to number 1.
Yes, number 1. You could probably figure out what it is by now, but it is Rubiks Dream by Henry Harrius.
Yeah, I figured it would be a toss-up between Venom and Rubik's Dream, but I have to say, if it were me, I would have put Venom above Rubik's Dream. But I'm interested to hear why you have this above Venom.
So the main reason it's my number 1 is just because of the versatility of this gimmick. You can perform matching effects. You can perform instant solves. You can make cubes disappear. You can make cubes turn into different types of cubes. You can turn it into like a triangular cube, which I guess isn't a cube anymore.
Yeah, yeah, but a different type of like twisting puzzle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you can cause all the stickers on the cube to disappear or change into the same color. Okay. There's so many more effects I feel that are possible with Rubik's Dream and Rubik's Dream 360. I guess I can tack onto that just because they're very similar products.
They're different enough that they serve different functions, but they are both. I would say that they're both better than Venom in the sense of versatility, which you are 100% right on, and I totally understand why you're placing it above Venom. Still don't understand why you're placing both of those above Rubiked, which is clearly the best. Yeah, I mean, and Rubik's Dream 360 also solves a lot of problems that Rubik's Dream had.
Yes.
Which is neat, because you can still twist it after you're using this utility device for what you need. That's fantastic. Well, Nick, thanks for sharing those with us. If you have any questions about Rubik's Cube magic, you should definitely check out the description below, because there's a lot of different Rubik's Cube things that we talked about. And of course, if you have a Rubik's Cube trick that we forgot about or didn't even address, be sure to let us know in the comments. Throw us a thumbs up if you think that Rubiked is better than the rest of the stuff on the list and that Nick is wrong. Other than that, thanks so much, Nick Popa, for joining us. On behalf of the rest of the Penguin Magic team, we'll see you next time.